Hey everyone. So, today we're going to talk about a whole new way to look at the creative lifestyle. It's an idea that really challenges those old stories about struggle and burnout. We're going to dive into something called the Creative Collective, which is a community built on a totally different set of rules. Let's see what it's all about.
So, let's just kick things off with a big, provocative question. Forever, we've been told this story that to be a real artist, you have to suffer for your craft. But what if that's not true anymore? What if that whole story is actually what's holding creatives back? Maybe that struggle isn't a badge of honor, but just an expired myth.
And this really gets us to the heart of the matter, what we'll call the creative's dilemma. You know what I'm talking about. It's that constant, exhausting tug-of-war between the passion that lights you up and the very real need to, pay the bills and build a life you can actually sustain. And here's the paradox, the thing so many creatives are dealing with every single day. On one side, society loves your work. Your creativity is celebrated. It's put on a pedestal. But on the other side, the burnout that comes with it, the insane pace, the financial stress, the mental toll, that part's just kind of ignored, or worse, it's treated like it's just part of the job. This quote, wow, it just perfectly nails that internal pressure, doesn't it? In our culture that's so obsessed with hustle, taking a break doesn't feel like a basic human need. It feels like this luxury you have to earn, that you have to justify. It's this feeling deep down that you're never really truly allowed to just stop.
Okay, so we've touched on the emotional side of things. Now let's get into something a lot more concrete, the money. Let's talk about the financial reality that makes trying to live a creative life feel so incredibly shaky.
Let's look at some real-world numbers here. Even something that should be simple, like taking a short trip to recharge your batteries, can feel totally out of reach. A quick 2-day trip to Disney World? For the general public, that's nearly $330. For a member of this collective, though, it's about half that. And that difference is huge when you're living from one project to the next. And look, this isn't just about vacations. This is about the cost of actually doing your job. Let's say you're a photographer on a shoot or a musician on tour. You need a car. Renting an SUV for 5 days can easily set you back almost $500. But through this collective's platform, that same rental is just $125. That's real money that goes right back into your art or just, your life. And this is where the scale of this financial pressure just becomes impossible to ignore. We are looking at a 7-night stay in a hotel in Florence, Italy. For a member, that hotel costs $560. Now, that same exact hotel for the same exact week, booked on a big public travel website, it's over $4,900. The difference is it's mind-blowing. Let's just sit with that number for a second. $4,352. That is the price difference for one single trip. That amount of money is literally the difference between taking an incredible, soul-filling, inspiring trip or staying home, feeling completely stuck. This is the financial reality we're up against. So, when that's the reality, how do you even begin to change the story? Well, this is where we make a pivot. We shift from just looking at the problem to exploring a solution. It's all about making a conscious choice to move away from that constant instability and step into a life of ownership and real empowerment.
And this right here is the core principle. The whole point isn't to find a clever new way to hustle or a more optimized way to grind yourself into the ground. No, the point is to actually own your time, own your finances, own your well-being. It is a fundamental shift in how you think about your life and your work.
So who is this actually for? Well, it's designed for creatives who see themselves in this story. People who are on the road a lot for work or for inspiration. People whose income isn't a steady paycheck but comes in waves. Creatives who absolutely need flexibility. But maybe most importantly, it's for anyone who believes that rest isn't some optional luxury but a non-negotiable part of a healthy life. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does a model like this actually work? What are the mechanics behind creating this kind of sustainable lifestyle? So at its heart, the Creative Collective is built on this really simple but kind of radical idea about the connection between security and freedom. The old story tells us you have to trade security to get creative freedom. This model says the exact opposite, that true, lasting freedom is only possible when you build it on a solid foundation of security.
The whole system really stands on 3 main pillars. First, you've got the anchor, a guaranteed annual trip. This makes sure that you have a real restorative break on the calendar, no matter what. Second, there's an everyday savings app that uses the group's buying power to get huge discounts on things creatives actually use. And third, the payment system is designed for a creative's cash flow, so it can flex with your income instead of being another rigid bill that you dread seeing every month.
Let's break down that guaranteed trip because it's really the cornerstone of this whole thing. Every year, members get a 5-star trip for themselves and a guest. The estimated value of that trip is around $10,000. The total cost to the member, $2,200. And that's paid over time, with the monthly contribution capped at $179. It's designed to be predictable and manageable.
And this is such a critical way to reframe how we think about payments. We're so trained to see any monthly payment as debt, as a burden. This way of thinking encourages you to see it completely differently, not as paying for something in the past, but as investing in your future. You are intentionally, actively saving for guaranteed joy.
So as we wrap this up, I want to be clear that the goal here isn't to sell you on something. The entire spirit of this community is about finding the right fit, not about pressure. It's just about putting an opportunity out there for the people who really connect with it.
So really, it all boils down to this. Does this idea resonate with you? If you're a creative person who is desperate for guaranteed rest, who needs a more affordable way to travel, and who believes deep down that your life should be about more than just surviving, that it should be about thriving, then this might be something worth looking into. And the way you explore it reflects that whole community-first vibe. You don't call some 1-800 number. You just connect with someone who's already a member. They'll literally just show you their app, share their own experiences, and answer your questions. It's all about a real connection, not a sales pitch. Because in the end, everything we've talked about comes back to this one single, powerful idea. Creativity is one of the most precious resources we have as people. It shapes our world, it inspires us, it brings us joy. And for that spark to really flourish, it needs more than just passion. It needs, and it absolutely deserves, sustainability.